Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the BH Sales Kennel Kelp Holistic Healing Hour. Some of you, by our invitation, were applicable. My two church mice, Peter and Paul, each and every day for a really long time, for sure. 6 years in running daily at two audio versions of my shows in general. And my YouTube offering is Bill Holt at Bill Holt 8792. Please do like us, share us, give us the thumbs up. And we're comfortable in doing so. Please do subscribe and thank you. We have seen a pretty significant blip on the radar screen. That's all due to you guys and gals interacting with the questions that we do frame in each and every show, and it's most assuredly with provocative guests, much like returning guest, my friend from China, Tim Doyle. So welcome aboard, Tim. We are going to talk about forgiveness for those that may not know from the archival shows. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. We'll be here for as long or short as it takes, probably somewhere in between a half hour, maybe an hour, something like that. So, Tim, welcome once again, my friend, and thank you so much for doing so. And tell us what the golden ones and yourself are saying about forgiveness, maybe right now as we speak, and the subject overall. Please take it away, Tim. Welcome again. Thank you.
Bill, thank you for the invitation. I always enjoy interacting with you.
Thank you.
And,
Likewise.
and Bill, please feel free to jump in at any time when you're guided to ask a question for clarifications and so forth. All right.
Will do, my friend. Will do. Thank you.
So the soul is created in the image and likeness of God, which means that all the characteristics of God are embedded in the soul and the soul's spirit. When the soul incarnates into earth, the soul's mission, they're like infants. Their mission is to take these God characteristics that are in the immature form and to transform them into mature forms. So in other words, their feelings, their immature feelings or emotions. And so the soul has to discipline and master these emotions and convert them into God feelings. So for an example, like to take something like anger and discipline it and master it and transform it into peace and acceptance. Something like impatience, discipline that, master it, and transform it into patience. And so along the way, the soul has free will. The soul has free will to experiment and experience with anything in God's kingdoms to learn wisdom. As long as the soul does not abuse any member of God's kingdom, the human kingdom, the angelic kingdom, the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, the insect kingdom. And when the soul abuses any one of God's kingdoms, the universal law of cause and effect will create a karmic relationship for that abusiveness. So if the soul in its immature form is triggered to that, one of his immature God characteristics is selfishness, and he steals from another. Well, eventually, the law of cause and effect will allow another member of God's kingdom to steal from the soul. The universal law of cause and effect is what you do to another will be done unto you, in the exact same measurement. Well, over many incarnations, souls have murdered other souls. Now, death it's not a reality in this earth spiritual kingdom. Just like if you have wealth at the time you die, you transition, you don't carry your wealth over from carnation to carnation. But what you do carry over from carnation to carnation is your abusiveness to others. Now, this abusiveness, when for example, let's just say I'm blind in my right eye. Let's say, for an example, that in a previous life, I blinded someone. So what happened is from that, when I blinded another person within that physical body of mine, the universal law of cause and effect created a benchmark saying, he created that abusiveness and it was placed in my physical body at cellular level. So as I go from carnation to carnation to carnation, the universal law of cause and effect will take place when the soul is able to accept his karmic debt. And so, for example, maybe in a previous life, I might not have been able to accept being blind in this eye. And I might have cursed or I might have struck out at another person, causing another abusive action with my actions. So in this carnation, I became blind at a very early age when I was 18 in the military service. And being blind at that age, I just accepted it like, okay, I'm blind. I was in the military service, and what it did is by being in the military service, I'm being compensated financially for that injury because the government had to accept the responsibility for it of me being blind under their supervision. So I'm blind, which really I didn't feel it bothered me that much. I just felt it was okay. That's something that happened to me, and I accepted it and dealt with it the best as I could. So,
Hey, Tim.
yes,
Sorry, real quick question where and thanks for sharing. I was going to go there, but I didn't know your comfortability about military related, so we've got that one's covered. Now, under that premise, do you think in former lives the potentiality of your repayment, if you will, that you may have inflicted, as you said, some kind of maybe physical eye injury, but do you think it may have been warrior related in a former life in a military aspect, or who knows?
well, Bill, I feel that if it was a warrior situation and I did not have an intent to injure someone, okay, I don't think I would have been held liable because I had no intention here. So for me to be it now, all be said, I could have done the same thing, injured someone, and it wasn't my intention. And now I am being injured, which is not anyone else's intention.
Got it.
Right?
Got it. Thank you.
To have this condition, what it does, it allows you to appreciate what you do have. I do have one good eye, and it really doesn't bother me because it's been many years since I've been with one eye. So it's not like I'm missing anything or anything like that. It didn't affect maybe playing basketball or shooting the hoop or anything like that.
Good for you. Did they indeed call you old one eye in all good humor? I tease a little bit.
Well, I had 4 children, and if they did, I would have spanked them.
There you go. Good for you. Continue.
And so what I have learned, and this is what have been taught to me in the past probably 9 months, is that I do this practice. I have an altar behind me. You can see the crystals and you can see the pictures and so forth. At times, I'll go there, be guided to go there to do a healing prayer for trapped souls. And we talked about trapped souls. And so in going there and saying a prayer for trapped souls, I get to a point where when I ask for forgiveness for these trapped souls, within my body there's an energy release, like a sigh, like a I have to release this energy. And what they
Right.
told me is that through all my incarnations, when I do a prayer of forgiveness, and I don't have to know the person, I don't have to know that, 2 centuries ago this happened, and I forgive this person. What I take is anyone that comes into my life that I interact on a daily basis, because we know that through reincarnation, we interact with the same people over and over again.
Right.
Sometimes we're the parent, sometimes we're the child, sometimes we're the wife, sometimes we're the husband. So the same people are in and out of our lives. So what I have started to do after several sessions in several months of saying these prayers for trapped souls and for other conditions, and I noticed this sigh. My teachers tell me that what's happening is I'm releasing any karmic energy at cellular level that might have been caused from an abusiveness in previous carnations. Well, Bill, this explains what happens is that when you cause this abusiveness to another in your life, that's registered in your physical body. At the time of death, your body goes back to spirit, and you take with you all the wisdom you have learned in that carnation. So when we were created in the image and likeness of God and God's characteristics, and they were immature God characteristics as emotions, as we mature, discipline, and master these emotions within a creation, when we die, we take that wisdom with us back in, and we upgrade our spiritual nature with the new updated characteristics that we have mastered. Now, this is done because eventually, and there's 2 points to be made here. One point is eventually, when we go through forgiveness for all our debts and we live a life of harmony, balance, order, and unity for the oneness of creation, we are now being guided by the universal law of creation. When we use our God characteristics consciously in love and in harmony, balance, order, and unity for the good of good, for the good of all, and the oneness of creation, our dreams and desires become manifested in our life. And what we're doing is we're increasing, when we're happy, we increase the vibration of the body at cellular level. Within the DNA of the cell, and the DNA is in every cell of the physical body, there's amino acids. And when the soul is happy and content, those amino acids, they vibrate. They vibrate. You have a set of 46 chromosomes within your DNA. And when you're happy, you vibrate 90% of them. And so when your DNA is vibrating, it is sending a message out to creation of who you are. It's like your aura. And it's like the universe recognizes your aura. It recognizes that you are working in harmony, balance, order, and unity for the good of all and the oneness of creation. And it knows what's in your heart. It knows what's in your mind. It knows what's in your desires, and knows what your dreams are. And so it brings those manifestations of what you desire into manifestations for the benefit of the soul. Now, That's the eventual. That's what happened to Jesus. If Jesus did ascend, and he is not the only son of God, we're all sons and daughters of God. Well, I won't say we're all sons and daughters. The soul he creates the soul male and female. So even though we're genetically one gender in each carnation, when we ascend, we're basically male female, all right? Because we're both basically the oneness of a spirit, which is male and female, which means that we have feminine characteristics like intuition, compassion, nurturing, and we have masculine characteristics like logic, organizations, systematic, control, and so forth. So when the soul has mastered his being and he's vibrating and is in harmony and balance and unity with the universal law of creation, the soul will ascend from this earth spiritual training school, like millions and billions of other souls previously to this earth. Now, let's get back to abusiveness. When a soul is abusive and he carries this abusiveness into the next carnation, this is a reason why there's birth defects with children being born, is that they have abused someone in a previous carnation and they carry forth this abusive condition in their body at cellular level that manifests into a birth defect, maybe at birth or later on in birth and so forth. And normally, when this happens, the soul is able to accept, or he will be in a position where someone will take care of the soul to minimize the detrimental effects that his disability condition has on the soul during that incarnation. Now, I am blind in my right eye. Now, recently, I started to lose vision in my left eye, my good eye. I do wear glasses, but my glasses weren't working. And my vision, I could barely see my screen. Everything was blurry. And I went to the doctors here in China, and they told me I had a cataract condition, that I needed to have surgery. And if I don't have surgery, I will eventually not be able to see. So we're in retrograde Mercury now. And so during retrograde Mercury, I plan to have this operation done where how the doctor explained it is in the lens of the eye, behind the lens of the eye, there's a crystal. And what they do is they remove the crystal and they implant another crystal and they put your lens back on. They don't do a lens replacement. They use your same lens and they just replace the crystal in your eye. Well, I went and had this done, what's today? Monday. I went Monday morning. It took the doctors here in China, most of them, the doctors that I have experienced are lady doctors. Correct. Very dedicated lady doctors. And
they are indeed.
And I wanted a lady doctor because a lady doctor is caring, nurturing. They do it out of.
They listen. They listen.
They listen. They do it out of compassion. And so.
Absolutely.
And so I had this lady. I was pleased that it was going to be a lady doctor that did it. And Monday morning went in, and they don't put you to sleep here in China. So I was awake during the operation, and it took about a half an hour. And then she put a bandage on my eye, and I went back yesterday morning to remove the bandage.
Correct.
Bill, when she removed the bandage from my eye, I thought I was in heaven. I could see. I've been wearing glasses for, oh my God, 35 years. My glasses are no longer good. My vision,
Me too. Me too. Me too. Me too.
Bill, I can't believe that my vision is as good as it is. Now, I still take drops. My
Correct.
close-up vision is a little blurry, but my
Correct.
far-sighted vision is, oh my goodness gracious, it's like, and colors are more vivid than I've seen it. I
I,
walked in.
I, aren't they? Aren't they? And just to interject real quickly, no medicinal comparisons or any of that kind of crazy stuff. I mostly last calendar year and finished it up early as this calendar year became. Who cares? But it's a similar. I had 3 cataracts operations, all successful. I had a macular hole developing, and they did a fantastic job. Three appearances on, no, I'm sorry, 2 macular hole processes as well. Long story short, the colors, to your point, I have 20/20 vision in the other eye, and I have back from like an off the charts, totally legally blind, crazy number, 3,000 something, all the way down to, so it's 20/40 with that. So again, no medicinal operations comparison. The eye in and of itself so amazing, and those technicians and clinicians are so brilliant. So continue. I didn't want to get too sidetracked,
No,
but
no, Bill.
we have that in common. We have that in
Bill,
common.
that's what I was going to say. Is I walked into my apartment yesterday after.
Do I live here? I
And
tease
the
a little bit.
colors, I couldn't believe the colors in my apartment. I thought, oh my God, the colors in here are
How about the
beautiful.
beautiful ones on? How about the beautiful ones on your altar that you could obviously see before you incurred? Did they reappear to their full vividness? Because you can see how vivid they are right on camera.
Beautiful. And I can see outside as far as I can see, my vision is
Awesome,
like, well, see, what
awesome.
I was doing, Bill, and another thing is at nighttime, the prayer protection, I do the forgiveness prayer every night.
Correct, correct.
And before I go to sleep, I ask my angels to not to have any bad dreams. And then any soul that I have come into my life during the day, because I do English training with my students here, and their parents come in, and I do one-on-one. So anyone who's come into my house during the day, I embrace them in a circle of light in an armor of love, and I do a healing prayer on them. And I go through, when I do the healing prayer, I get a sigh. I get this release. Now,
Right.
wherever I am during the day, if I'm in the supermarket, if I'm on the bus, if I'm in the hospital, I do the prayer of forgiveness for everybody in the hospital. I don't know who I might have abused in a previous life. And each time I do this prayer, Bill, I do this release of the sigh, like this, that
Right.
releases from my body. And the only time I do this is when I do the prayer. I don't
Absolutely.
I don't do it, like watching TV and yawning or anything like that. Just when I
Correct.
do the prayer protection. So the prayer protection is there. Most people don't realize how important it is for the healing of your body at cellular level. Um,
Kim, I'm sorry. You've done this many times, several times in your previous visits. When you get done talking a little bit, can you please say that prayer again? I think everybody can hear it, and if they're hearing it again, even better. When you want to interject it, I
I'll
didn't
tell
want
you
to
what,
break your
Bill,
thought.
it'd be a good
Yeah,
time to do it right now. All
let's
right.
do it.
And Bill,
Let's do
I'll
it.
tell you what I'll do. I'll use you as my subject. Okay.
Hey, listen, I've been used that tease a little bit. I of course you can go for it.
All right.
Go for it.
Okay. Mother, Father God, we thank you for surrounding Bill in a circle of light, in an armor of love, in which nothing can remain and through which nothing can penetrate, unlike divine love itself. We thank you for removing all energies and entities, unlike divine love from Bill, taking him to thy Father for light and liberation. The Mother God, Father God, frees his soul, frees his energy and entities, and I am accepts no reversal, individually or collectively, for the treatment of these energies and entities. We thank you in the name of the living God, consciousness, Satnam.
Thank you so much for doing that individually for me. Very namaste. And collectively, we don't know you yet by names out there, as our vessels are just names, a subject for another time. But that's extended to all of you. And thank you, Tim, for directing that to me personally. Continue.
Well, let's see, Bill. I don't know. I would like to hear your story about your.
Okay, do you feel as though, because I have time and we always talk about it in the green room, not to rush you, but did you indeed feel as though this time you got out what you wanted to say? And then let's do revisit what we talked about last time when you're fully ready to do so.
I think we
If you did.
covered. I don't. I'm not hearing anything else. Usually they tell me something else to incorporate, but I think right now we're good, Bill. Now, when you talk, they may say something. So
Okay. Hopefully it's all good, but I tease the golden ones a tad. So to refresh everybody's memory, whether you were here with us archivally, and thank you, and if you're new, whatever the situation may be, thank you in all accords. But the last appearance with Tim, and real quick overview for those of you that don't know that, usually we're somewheres for sure each and every month, pretty much for the calendar year as it's gone by in the last handful of months consecutively, in between the lunar cycles as they occur. Not right in the dead set middle. Case in point, we just had a full moon, and it's usually somewheres in between before the next occurrence. For those of you that don't know that, and we do talk about the path to oneness, and we will before the end of the show. But Kim and I, in the last episode, talked about a portion of a membership program and the available free, I believe, still MP3s there, pertinent to Trap Souls, Tim's dissertation video was. And we talked about Trap Souls in the last episode. So as we got to discuss, as Tim always does pretty much, tell us what the gods are thinking right at that point in time, the golden ones, and then his own derivation of an amazing career and relationship and how he came upon it, all in and of itself has been so fascinating, and we're blessed in that regard. But we talked about trapped souls, and I talked about this example and posted it as a question on this crystallography. For those that may not know, and those of you that do, it's the study of water, and it's basically under the great Bader Austin, who's well renowned in the secret intelligence of water, one of her books. And it's based on the motto and so forth. Water, we are water, and water speaks to us. So petri dishes is part of her training, and you can put your tap water, spring water, what have you, and you try to replicate whatever image, whatever emotion, whatever it is that you want to envision to see how the water speaks back or replicates said image, if you will. And there's a process to it. You freeze it and so on and so forth. So, because I have arthritic afflictions in both hands, which is not an no poor me, I don't do her techniques justice because I'm always fumble, bumble, stumbling, and agitating the water. But they're good for my own edification. And I think I shared this one in particular a couple of years ago. And even to the public, it was pretty discernible that I was seeing multiple faces, and it pretty much was young to old, in between, youngsters, generational. And here's the interesting thing, as an addendum, Tim, in the interim, I've now started to see more of them, not so much in the petri dishes. I did a couple of those, but I also alluded to Tim last time. Sometimes when I close my eyes, and I do that a lot when I meditate, I can somewhat manifest and see holographs pretty well, usually on what I'm trying to concentrate on. It's more like a silhouette in that regard. Stay with me. Thanks for your patience. I referenced one point looking right out my back door of my abode. There is a huge field that was an old farm state that's being developed, and there's condos and all that kind of stuff. So I often look out because there used to be an array of animals out there that are also being driven out of their environment because of the construction. So lots of times when I'm gazing out, I see not so much the same faces per se that I saw in the dish, but again, faces. And the addendum, Tim, is in the interim, I'm now seeing what appears to be maybe multi-generational because of the garb, clothing, and what have you that's being depicted. I'm seeing like not so much the Amish, but the shawls type of thing. Back generations ago, not just pertinent to like the Amish, but I see that a lot. And then in the same hologram, if you will, and or petri dish, maybe an upstack of early 20th century clothing all the way up to and presently. So my whole point through all of that, I asked him last time to think about what he thought about. Is that a form of trapped souls reaching out to me, possibly in that way? Because I did enunciate myself. I've never had, other than one exception, I alluded to that, a feeling that someone was behind me. I did allude to one time with a cold breath, but I've never seen or felt as though anybody was mirror vision in bathrooms or what have you, which Tim exchanged a couple of personal stories involving his own son, I believe. So through all of that mumbo jumbo, I was wondering what Tim maybe thought about in the subsequent 3-4 weeks, what it's been, and if we're making any semblance of feasibility. Do you think those are trapped souls reaching out, perhaps,
No,
to
I,
me?
I wanted you to do the prayer of protection. I
Let's
wanted,
do that together again. Let's do that together again because I think that might elucidate the points we're about to make.
well, let me see if we can do it.
Or did you mean you wanted me to do it as that?
Yeah.
Okay, actually, I did do that. Gospel truth. I'm sorry, I
Okay.
misunderstood you.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I did heart to gospel. I did do that in those examples. I thought you meant right now. If you want to
No.
do the prayer of protection right now, that feel free to do so. But
No.
I
No.
get your point now. I
Yeah.
get your point. Yes, I did do that. Yes, I did do that.
What did
And
you?
I'm seeing those maybe more vivid ones, if you will, in the interim of starting to do that as I'm seeing them, if that makes sense.
Did you feel anything or?
Well, again, not to get too sidetracked because we have so many things that we've talked about archivally a number of times now with your appearances here. Energy healing, I'm a big proponent of that, big believer in that. I meditate that way. I'm a member of a guided group. I talk about it. I do solos. I listen to your versions. I'm a member of by choice. I'm a member of the path to oneness, and do interject about the path to oneness in all versions of, and tie it into trap souls and what you think on this, but get the concept of the path to oneness too, because that has indeed helped me. I've been involved. I've known Tim since calendar year 2023, early summer, I believe, of 2023, but I joined the program in February of this year. And I've actually done the Ascension program a couple of times, geared around the lunar cycles. I listen to every edition as he generates them, and I listen to all fellow podcasters and broadcasters that Tim's on as well. So it has helped me immensely in all those regards. So I think I answered your question, kind of
No.
around.
No. Bill. Let me tell you what I'm hearing. I'm,
Okay, please.
I'm hearing what my teachers are telling me. The golden ones are telling me is you believe you don't have the ability to release these trapped souls. Is that true?
Well, I wouldn't disagree with that, but I think maybe kind of a surrender Dorothy, Wizard of Oz. If I surrender myself to that, I think I'm comfortable that yes, they are, and I'm confident that in believing what I believe, if I'm purporting it in emanating it as such, I feel as though my aura is pretty good, emanating from within and from without. So, under that premise, I think I believe it. I just need to convince myself.
Well, let me tell you something. I'm no special from you. All right.
Correct.
What happens to what I experience is so that I can teach other people to do
Correct.
what the golden ones have taught me to do. And so when I release trapped souls, I feel the energy. I feel the energy swirling within me, using me as a gateway to go through me. That's why I was curious, Bill, to see what you felt. Now, Bill, my teachers are telling me that they come to you because you have the ability to release these souls, and that you should embrace it and report back to us, because
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Finish your point.
what's going to happen now if and when you do this and you actually experience the energies flowing through you, it'd be a confirmation to the ones your audience that they can do it too, and that they can help. See, these trapped souls, they're not ghosts. They're just
Correct.
here.
Thank you for that clarification. Number one, we're definitely on the same plane, if you will, in
Yeah,
that analogy. Thank you.
they're
Continue.
not ghosts. They just, at the time of death, they didn't move on. Maybe they didn't think they were dying, and they didn't move on within the 3 days. And so they're trapped here. And so they will migrate to a soul with an aura who believes that they can assist them in moving to the next level of soul development. So, Bill, you're attracting these souls because they believe you can help them.
Something else I didn't tell you here, but my audience that does follow me at the shows, especially at the meditations and in the shows in general, I have the same visions many times with animals across the board because I have such an affinity. I know that I have such an affinity, and I have prayed extensively, and I'm still trying to reach out to Ariel. However that vision is under the traditional imagery or what have you of Ariel, but I have done it geared to animals, maybe with a more degree of frequency of feeling totally confident that that is indeed why they are reaching out to me. I think I got that revelation right now. As far as humans, thank you, thank you.
Yes, I would. Bill, I'd love to hear your next time we meet. I would love to hear
Let's
your
do it again,
experience.
and just here, let's see what the next topic of discussion will be. But tentatively, where do you think we should go next to maybe keep some congruence, if you will, to what we've been talking about? And they're always congruent.
Well, what's coming up in past couple of days, and I haven't written anything during retrograde Mercury. Um,
Correct.
my
We can talk
teachers.
about retrograde Mercury, not now. It's boy, is that full moon been a strange one, right?
Uh,
Continue. A lot of energy. A lot of
I
energy.
haven't
Continue.
written anything during this retrograde Mercury from August 4th through August 27th, and what they're leaning towards is telling me about all the fears that are created in this Earth realm, Earth training school, to stop the soul from uh, vibrating uh, in peace. In fact, what we could talk about is can talk about the conscious and subconscious mind and how it relates to manifesting your dreams, and
That's a, that's,
how it controls how your thinking controls you, and how to eliminate that.
that's such a great idea because way back archivally we have visited that, and I think that's a great refresher as to the time frame of how it is occurring, concurring between the next 3, 4 weeks or whatever when we do schedule our next appointment. I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
Any closing thoughts?
Closing time.
Okay, great. It is. It is. Namaste. Thank you so much, Tim, for all of it, as always. And thank you. You helped me out immensely in this session alone, as you always do. And the golden ones, of course. Namaste, my friend.
Bill, much love to you and your audience.
Thank you. Till next time.
Till next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Visit us at www.thepathtowoneness.com. Join the membership program for all the latest teachings from the Golden Ones. Visit us on Facebook and LinkedIn at thepathtowoneness.com.